I returned just this morning from a Congressional Delegation trip, or CODEL, visit to both Afghanistan and Iraq. As a member of the Senate Armed Services Committee, I wanted to see and hear from the folks on the ground about how the fight against terrorism is going and the ways that Congress can help support our troops. I had the opportunity to visit with a number of men and women from Alabama who are serving over there. They were from all over the state, from Mobile to Huntsville, Ozark, Geneva, Thomasville, Tuscaloosa, to Wetumpka, Cullman, Hoover, and Birmingham. I was so happy to have had a chance to thank them personally for their service and their sacrifices. My colleagues and I also met with the commanding generals, General Scott Miller in Afghanistan and General Paula Camara in Iraq. We met with State Department advisors and embassy personnel. We also met with leaders of women's advocacy groups who are working to make the region safer for women and to secure a lasting peace. We also had some very productive discussions with leaders of the Afghanistan government and the Iraqi government. President Ghani of Afghanistan, President Salih of Iraq. Incredibly powerful figures over there that we were happy to have personal discussions with. Folks, I got to tell you, this trip was a very powerful experience for me. It was my first time over there. And it's a critical time for both Iraq and Afghanistan, both politically and in terms of security. With U.S. support, both nations' militaries are making some progress towards self-sufficiency, but they really have a long way to go before they'll ever be able to manage the security threats on their own. Now, although there have been reports to the contrary, ISIS and Al-Qaeda have not been defeated. In fact, ISIS is attempting to recruit university students, computer scientists, and more women in an effort to become more sophisticated. Both terrorist organizations are regrouping and growing in strength. And in spite of U.S. Ambassador Khalilzad's efforts to negotiate a peace settlement in Afghanistan, the Taliban declared the opening of spring fighting season the very day that I arrived for my visit. In other words, our mission is not yet accomplished. Afghanistan must have a strong, legitimate, democratic government that will protect the rights of women. They need to hold their presidential election in September. It has been postponed twice, and it needs to happen this coming September. But they're going to need our support to make sure that it happens. Regardless, we're going to need to keep a counter-terrorism presence in Afghanistan. Al-Qaeda is deeply connected to the Taliban, and it's not going away. We can never lose sight of that fact. In Iraq, we face an equally urgent need to remain engaged. We're having a positive impact with our train, advise, and assist mission, but Iraqi security forces cannot ensure security or manage the threat of ISIS on their own. As I speak today, ISIS is repositioning itself in both Iraq and Syria. And the recent declaration by the United States that the Iranian Revolutionary Guard is a terrorist organization presents its own special challenges for Iraq. I was really fortunate on this trip to have traveled with my colleagues on the Armed Services Committee, Senators Jack Reed, who's the ranking member of the committee, and Jeanne Shaheen, who's also a member of the committee, as well as the Appropriations Committee. Both have been to these countries many times and provided valuable experience and context for me on my first trip. I was extremely impressed with the professionalism and dedication displayed by our commanders and troops, as well as our embassy personnel. They all deserve our gratitude for keeping us safe from foreign terrorist attacks here at home.